Good evening. This is TrendProof News for August 24th, 2026. Tonight, trade, fire, and sanctions. We separate what is confirmed from what is still unfolding. First, the U.S.-Canada trade dispute. The key questions are scope, timing, and impact.
Trade friction between the United States and Canada moved sharply higher after talks broke down. PBS NewsHour reported that President Trump promised more tariffs on Canada after the talks failed. Separate contemporaneous reporting describes new U.S. duties of 50% on about $20 billion in Canadian goods, with Canada announcing a matching response reported to start on September 8th. Those headline numbers deserve careful treatment. A tariff rate alone does not explain the full economic effect. The impact depends on the imported products selected, any exclusions or exemptions, the date at which customs rules take effect, how inventories are handled, and whether businesses can shift suppliers. In a closely integrated market, such as the United States and Canada, a component can cross the border more than once before it reaches a consumer. That means a policy change can affect manufacturers, farmers, distributors, and households in different ways. For viewers, the clearest question is not simply whether a tariff was announced. It is which products are covered. Reporting has referred to sectors including steel, dairy, appliances, and agricultural equipment in Canada's planned response. Before the final cut is published, TrendProof will check the relevant U.S. and Canadian notices for the exact goods and effective dates. Until then, those product categories should be treated as reported details, not as an exhaustive official list. There is also a diplomatic dimension. Both governments are framing the dispute in sharply different terms. Our focus is on policies that are enacted, dates provided in official notices, and measurable effects that follow. Viewers should expect further changes as negotiations, legal challenges, and supply chain decisions evolve. The practical takeaway is this: the immediate news is a breakdown in talks and an escalation in planned and reported trade measures. The next verified update needs to answer exactly which imports are covered, when the rules take effect, and how Canada's response is formally structured. Until those documents are updated, confident predictions about store prices or job losses would go beyond the confirmed record. TrendProof will follow the notices, not the noise.
Next, an emergency story near Reno. The most important information is the current official alert.
Near Reno, Nevada, the Hawk Fire has become a major public safety emergency. Washoe County's Regional Emergency Operations Center said the fire began on August 22nd near the Somerset area northwest of Reno. In its August 23rd update, the county said the cause was human, listed 10,522 acres with aerial confirmation pending, and said roughly 90,000 residents were within Get Set and Go Now evacuation zones. The agency's update also identified the operational challenge: low humidity, rising winds, grass and brush fuels, and the risk of more active fire behavior. Emergency crews were working to keep the fire south of Cold Springs and north of Somerset, while creating fuel breaks and protecting residential areas. The county asked residents not to call 911 for evacuation information and directed them to its official perimeter map and emergency channels. By Monday, ABC News reported that containment had risen to 27%. It said 23,000 people remained under evacuation orders, another 40,000 were under warning, and officials had counted 32 destroyed homes and 6 damaged homes. Those numbers can change quickly as damage assessments continue and evacuation areas can move as wind shifts. NPR also reported that officials had described the incident as human-caused and that thousands of responders had been mobilized. For anyone in or near the affected area, the safest advice is local and direct. Follow county emergency messages, use the official perimeter map, obey road closures, and prepare to leave before an evacuation order turns into an immediate departure. A news video should never be treated as a live evacuation map. Do not rely on unverified social media posts, and do not travel toward the fire area for photos or video. For the wider audience, this story shows why emergency updates must include dates and source labels. The fire's acreage, containment, evacuation zones, damage estimates, and weather forecast are all moving variables. In the final version of this report, every fire graphic will show the time of the latest official update. The message from local officials is straightforward. Follow official alerts, keep roads clear, and put safety before curiosity.
Finally, the new U.S. measures involving Iran. We separate the legal action from the wider policy claims.
On August 24th, the U.S. Treasury Department's Office of Foreign Assets Control, known as OFAC, announced a formal change to several Iran-related authorizations. The agency said it was indefinitely suspending the effectiveness of 5 named general licenses under the Iranian Transactions and Sanctions regulations. Those licenses covered specified educational activities, personal remittances, conference-related services, and certain sports and academic exchanges. OFAC also issued General License BB. The document says that authorization permits qualifying wind-down activity for transactions that had previously been authorized under the affected licenses through September 8, 2026, subject to the stated conditions. The key distinction is important. The published document describes particular licenses and a wind-down period. It does not, by itself, provide a complete list of all future enforcement actions or all entities that could be affected. The broader political framing is more expansive. PBS NewsHour, publishing Associated Press reporting, said Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent described the new policy as aimed at blocking Iran's revenue sources and warned countries with continuing economic ties that they could face retaliation. The report said potential secondary sanctions targets were not named. That is why the final story must distinguish between the text of the OFAC action, official statements about policy goals, and possible steps that may be taken later. This is a story with consequences that reach beyond government statements. Sanctions can affect banks, logistics firms, universities, nonprofit groups, families, and commercial counterparties. That is also why precise information matters. People and organizations with compliance questions should consult the current OFAC materials and qualified legal guidance rather than relying on a news summary. TrendProof will watch for any new designations, formal guidance, or changes to the wind-down authority. We will not turn general warnings into a list of named targets until that list appears in a primary source release. In fast-moving international stories, evidence and attribution are not optional. They are the difference between a useful update and an unsupported assertion. Before we close, here is what these stories have in common. Each is easy to reduce to a headline, but each depends on details that can change the meaning. In the tariff dispute, the operative documents matter more than a single percentage. In the Hawk Fire response, the current county alert matters more than an image taken hours ago. And in the sanctions story, a published authorization or designation matters more than a broad political warning. For viewers, that means asking 3 basic questions. First, who is the primary source? A local emergency operations center, a government department, a court filing, or an official trade notice can establish different facts than a commentary program or a social media post. Second, when was the information current? In an evacuation, a few hours can change a route, a warning, or an order. In trade and sanctions policy, an effective date, a product list, or a license condition can change the practical result. Third, what is actually confirmed and what is an official position, forecast, or allegation? Clear labels make that difference visible. That approach is not about being slow, it is about being useful. TrendProof will keep tracking official notices, emergency updates, and accountable reporting. When a key number changes, we will say when it changed, who supplied it, and what remains unknown. The goal is straightforward:
give you context that holds up after the first wave of headlines.
We have linked the sources for every claim used here. Subscribe to TrendProof for the next verified update. Thank you for watching.